There.
We're on now.
Yes, we are. Yay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, bright, beautiful beings of love. Welcome into our sacred space here at Brentwood Inspired Living Center. I've got my phone right here in front of me, and that is where I find you on Sunday morning on our Facebook Live feed at Brentwood Inspired Living Center. And then I get to chat and connect with everybody, and we get to see your comments and your questions and your beautiful faces as soon as my phone loads up and I get that live. And so when you get here, when you come into the space, let me know you're here with a comment on the Facebook Live, which I'm searching for right now. I'm scrolling my Facebook feed. There we are. I think I always get that same smile when I find us. Finally, here we are. Wonderful. Okay, we are live. We are streaming. I'm so happy to be here. It is a blessing, complete blessing and joy to be here, breathing, loving, receiving one another, and coming here to deepen our walk with this sacred life. And I welcome you into this space, our Sunday morning space. I'm grateful to be with you. We are grateful to be with you. And I've got my phone here. So as soon as you log on, let me know you're here. Thank you for tuning in to the live and tuning within your heart and soul, and going within and being receptive and open. Good morning, Stephen. So nice to see you. Glad to see you. I got your email the other day. Nice to connect. If you are popping in here and joining us at Brentwood Inspired Living Center, this is our Sunday gathering, and we meet here every Sunday on Facebook Live, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, where I am a lot of the time. Today, I'm in the Bay Area in California, so I'm on the Pacific schedule. And we're just so grateful. We're so grateful to be here. My name is Amy Van Ling, and I'm joy-filled to be in loving service as the spiritual director of this exceptional, empowered community, where our purpose is to be a safe environment, a place you can trust to allow the highest unfoldment of your life, a space without judgment, which goes right into our theme this month, which is all judgments aside. And so I'd like to just feel into that, what that means, a safe and sacred space without judgment. So I had been sort of contemplating that and just letting that ruminate in my heart, and came to me that it is the space beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. There is a field Rumi talked about. Some might call that field the zero field, or the quantum field, or the field of infinite possibilities. And so there we create safety by meeting each other there, beyond that duality, where everybody can recognize their true essence. A sacred space where we can feel into the depth and breadth of our divine appointment here on earth, this sacred life. So I invite you to just breathe that, be with that, be that, just be that. Thank you for joining with us here. Hi, Dennis. Sounds like Rumi. Yeah, it was Rumi. I like Rumi. Good morning, Michael J. Allen. He says, hello, beloved community. Love surround you. Richest blessings. Blessings, blessings abound. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome in. Hi, Peggy. Welcome in. It was so great to see you yesterday. We had the concert in the park in the circle. I saw so many of you beautiful, bright beings. Hi, Kathy. Kathy says, good morning, wonderful friends. Welcome, Matthew and Brittany. Yes, we're so grateful to have our guests of honor here, Matthew and Brittany today. Patricia says, the universe is enfolding us this morning with love and light. Yes, Pat, I affirm. I did grab my glasses last week. I might have to keep them close by on Sunday mornings for the Facebook print, the fine print here on the, actually it's where like I have to hold it away. Good morning, precious souls. As always, I have my phone right here. So let me know when you can, when you log in, then that you see us and hear us and all that good stuff. Good morning, Jenny. It was so good to see you yesterday. Thank you for tuning in. So thrilled to be here this morning, introducing you to Reverend Matthew Fox, Brittany Gilmore, Nancy Pimentel, Greetings, love, virtual hugs and kisses and all the good stuff. Remember that we can energize the vibration of love by moving our energy in that direction. So simply begin just drawing energy up through your energy centers or your chakras to create that flow. And then go ahead when you see names and faces on the Facebook Live, share your love with every person you see logging in with us. You might actually, imagine pink light or white light or bright light moving from your heart chakra to others. Others will feel this energy. You can imagine light pouring down over each person, any organization, any community, a country, our Mother Gaia. However you want to move that energy, it's felt and it's profound. So it's good stuff. Thank you for participating here with that. Good morning, Ron. Ron is here. He says, good morning, Amy, Matthew, Nancy, Brittany, our Sunday morning dream team. Good morning, Susan. Nice to see everybody here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome back Reverend Matthew Fox, theologian, mystic, scholar, wisdom sharer, mover and shaker in this world in the most profound ways, whose purpose is to live a sacred life, a man who shares his radiance, and his life is a prayer. We're so thankful and grateful for you sharing your time and energy, bringing your essence to us today, Matthew. It's with deep gratitude that we welcome you into this space. Thank you for being here and saying yes to us, and sharing your time and energy. We're grateful. Matthew's talk today is perfect for the times. It is wisdom in a time of chaos, light in a time of the dark night of our species. So I feel like this is going to be a deep dive. So thank you, Matthew, for bringing that to us. And we have our soulful and sensational Brittany Gilmore, also known as Binks LaFay, on her social media musical pages. So if you're looking for her, you look for Binks LaFay, and she's here sharing her brilliance through her musical magic and sound healing. And we are tremendously grateful for your presence, Brittany, and your harmony and your gentleness. We're grateful, grateful. Thank you for saying yes to us and being here, tuning in this morning. And we have our glorious Nancy Pimentel. She is here today, creating space for us to tune into what it means to be prosperous and understanding the abundance of this life. So thank you, Nancy, for tuning in with us and saying yes to us. So thank you, Matthew, Brittany, Nancy, gifting us with your presence and essence. And we're so blessed, we're beyond blessed to be here and welcome each one of you, precious souls who are logging into our Facebook Live. Thank you, beloveds, for committing your time and your energy to co-creating this sacred space and bringing your heart, dedicating your hearts to creating a kind, just, and loving global society. I'd like to say thank you for tuning in to the show here, the Facebook Live, and tuning within to your center, to your inner wisdom. Hi, Dave. Dave says, good morning, loving community. And yesterday's concert on the green was so wonderful and relaxing. It was. I have a great picture of you laying on a blanket and relaxing indeed. Hi, John. John's here. Debbie's here. Hi, everyone. Hello, everybody. So grateful to be together. So just a quick reminder, if you or anyone you know would appreciate life affirming, love affirming prayer, this is a prayer of being in communion with, knowing our atonement, our at one with the divine intelligence that is vibrating, and knowing the wisdom and truth of God flowing in through and as each one of us. And if you would appreciate this prayer, if someone you know or love would appreciate this prayer, please share your prayer request with us. You can do that on our prayer and healing page on our website, brentwoodilc.org. It's very easy to pop in there, submit your prayer request, and we get those, and our prayer and angel team prays over those. And we are so grateful to do that. We are so joy-filled to do that. So send them our way. And would you like to receive any updates about what's going on at Brentwood Inspired Living Center? We always have things happening. So to get those updates, you can sign up on our website for our weekly connection email. It goes out every Wednesday, and it'll keep you apprised of everything that is happening around here. Our next loaves and fishes and recycle collection will happen at our in-person service. So we are having in-person service on the first Sunday of every month in Antioch at the community center. And that is where we are collecting all of the non-perishable food items for Loaves and Fishes. So thank you, Nancy, for continuing to hold this outreach in your consciousness, in your heart, and allow us all the opportunity to share abundance with our community at large in this way. And thank you, Florence, who collects all the recyclables, and you can bring also those on Sunday. And so the next first Sunday is June 5th. So mark that on your calendar. And thank you, Florence, for loving our planet, our Mother Gaia. And taking that into your consciousness and allowing us to bring you all of our recyclables. It is appreciated. So what we will do now, everybody, is, hi, Jan. Oh my goodness, Jan, Florence, Denise, Robin, they're all in Mount Shasta, and Kelly, and they are tuning in. Yay! Hello, everybody. So we're going to open up now with our mission statement. So I invite you to tune into our mission and allow yourself to just release any tension in your body, drop into your heart space, however you do that. Maybe, release your forehead. Sometimes we can hold tension in our forehead, our hands, and breathe. We are an open, heart-centered spiritual community, honoring the one presence within us. And we welcome all to connect, grow, and expand in wisdom, compassion, and love. And we're so grateful to be together, joining together. I am going to hand the screen over now to Brittany for our community song this morning. Remember that singing is a quick way to connect into our heart chakra. It's also a way to open our throat chakra and get energy flowing. So sing along at home. That is the purpose of this community song. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you. And as always, it's such a pleasure to be here. And it is so wonderful to know and feel all of our love and community through the ether of the internet. And this is one of my favorite songs that we sing together. It's been a little while, but I think that a lot of people know this one. I Am Light. The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of a brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Light, I am light. I am not mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of a dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside. All light, I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. And one more time. I am light. I am light. You are light. You are light. You are light. We 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 are light.
Oh, so beautiful. I love that song so much. And I love all the lyrics. I think though my favorite is
Too.
"We are a star, a part of it all." I don't know, that always just hits me
Beautiful.
right in my heart and feels so good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brittany. Okay, so we had a little inspirational download this morning, and Matthew had the guidance to do our reading this morning. And so, how we operate here is we're all about following inner guidance and where the Spirit leads. That's what Spirit led is all about. So, we're going to hand the screen over to Matthew for our inspirational reading this morning. It's a poem by John of the Cross. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Brittany, for that wonderful song and perfectly chosen, very synchronistic with the theme of the day. Now I went to my bookshelf because I had to share this one sentence from the Catholic monk Thomas Merton. He says, "We do not see the blinding one in black emptiness. He speaks to us gently in 10,000 things. 10,000 things. He shines not on them, but from within them. Shines not on them, but from within them." It's a beautiful naming of the cosmic Christ, of the light that's in all beings that you just sang about so beautifully and accurately. So I thank you for that. And it leads into the reading that I chose for today, because the theme that Amy read for us, wisdom in a time of chaos, light in a time of the dark night of our species. I felt we'd go back to the original namer of the dark night of the soul, St. John of the Cross, the 16th century Carmelite friar, who was roped into duty by Teresa of Avila, who was, 40 years older than him or something. And she was a real activist and trying to reform the Carmelite order, the women in the Carmelite order in the 16th century, which was a big trip up a mountain because of course, that was the time of the Reformation in the rest of Europe. But the Spanish Inquisition was so strong that Reformation was not allowed in the borders of Spain. But so Teresa kind of did it herself, or tried to do it herself. And then she felt the men needed reforming too. So she plucked out this 26-year-old brand new, newly ordained priest named John of the Cross. In his naivete, he said, "Oh, okay." Within a couple of years, he was in prison. By his brothers, who he was trying to reform, like Teresa's trying to reform the women. And then he escaped from that. But then a few years later, they locked him up again. And it was really serious. They tortured him daily, etc. And he was there for months, and he was losing weight and dying. And he dared an escape to sneak out. And as he was living in the convent, if you will, the priory of the other men, the monks, the friars, they were called. And so it was in the middle of the night that he made a rope of his sheet and his clothes and escaped down a window. And it was a dark night. There was no moon. So he calls it in this poem, the lucky night, because he got away. Obviously, we wouldn't know about him because he knew that if he got caught, they would beat him even more, because they beat him regularly and starved him. And they would have killed him. So it was that serious. The reptilian brain from time to time, as we notice, gets unleashed in, especially in the patriarchal consciousness and settings in the world. So this is his poem, The Dark Night. Once in the dark of night, now he wrote this poem after he escaped. Once in the dark of night, when love burned bright with yearning. Now notice there's gonna be a lot of images of light and brightness here. That's why your song was so appropriate. And so notice how he's connecting love with brightness. Once in the dark of night, when love burned bright with yearning, I rose, O windfall of delight, and how I left, no one knows. So it was a secret. Obviously, you had to keep it a secret. Dead to the world, my house in deep repose. And of course, our house is our soul and our heart. So there was, even though he was doing this courageous thing that could have gotten killed like that, there was a deep repose about it. In the dark where all goes right, thanks to a secret ladder, other clothes, his ladder was his clothes and a bed sheet. Oh, windfall of delight. In the dark and wrapped in those, dead to the world, my house in deep repose. So he had given up his fear of death. He had given up his fear of death. And he had found this deep repose, this calmness and this peace to make this creative and heroic act. There in the lucky dark, now he's reminding us that darkness can be good. Darkness can be lucky. Darkness can be a teacher for us, a school. That's what the dark night of the soul really means. There in the lucky dark, none to observe me, darkness far and wide, no sign for me to mark, no other light, no guide, except for my heart, the fire inside. I just love that section. The only light came from within, just what you were singing about. The fire inside, he wanted to live. So he made this risky action. No sign for me to mark, no other light, no guide, except for my heart, the fire inside. So it is our hearts that make the deepest decisions in our life. That led me on. What led him on? The fire of love in the heart. True as the very noon is, truer too. So the light within provided the light without. It was fuller than noon. And noon in Spain is real sunny. True as the very noon is, truer too. To where there waited one, I knew, how well I knew, in a place where no one was in view. So he's yearning to live in order to love, and especially to love the source of all things, the divine. O dark of night, my guide, night dearer than anything all your dawns discover. O night, drawing side to side the loved and lover, she that the lover loves, lost in the lover. And so his poem really culminates here in the joining of the lover and the beloved. And that's his favorite name for God, is the beloved. And then I'll skip 2 short stanzas and come to the last one. I stayed, not minding me, my forehead on the lover I reclined, earth ending, I went free, left all my care behind, among the lilies falling and out of mind. So he found a very deep repose in the divine, in the beloved, through all this danger that he underwent. And to me, that's a poem of light. It's a poem of the power of love, of the heart. And it's also a poem of honoring the night and the darkness. And that's what I'd like to speak to, but I'm not clear. Do I speak now, or are there more songs before I speak?
There are a few more songs, and then we'll come
good.
back to the
Okay,
message this morning. I just love that poem. I am gonna print myself a copy immediately. That
There are
was
several translations of it, of course, and if you know Spanish, you can go to the Spanish, which is the original, And of course, it's considered the most famous poem in all of the Spanish language. But I love this particular translation, which is by John Frederick Nims, Nims. As you know, there are many translations, but I just love this one. I just think it's good.
I agree. I
Yeah.
love that one too. It really spoke to my heart and it's very profound. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for listening to your inner guidance this morning and knowing what
Thank
the
you for
inspirational reading was to
allowing me
be.
to.
We appreciate that so much.
Thank
Whew,
you this
okay,
morning. It was
thank
so
you.
perfect to me.
Mm,
It was
so
pure
good.
down the cross.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, Brittany, I'm going to hand the screen back over to you for our next song this morning. Thank you. I love it.
Great. Thank you so much, Matthew. And I love it when the songs that I choose line up in a way that I had no idea was going to happen. It always seems to happen magically like that. So that is really awesome. That was an amazing message. The next song I'm going to do is, without being too long-winded, the theme, all judgments aside. I thought, well, when we are really able to put our judgments aside, that's when we really are able to be our true selves, and we can allow others to be their true selves and appreciate our differences. And so I wore this shirt with all the colors on it in honor of this next song, True Colors. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside can make you feel so small. But see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. True colors, true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors, your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brittany. That's one of my favorites. We have the favorite list, my favorite list going on today. I am my true colors. I think, because it just so speaks to that that inner fire that Matthew just read about, and so thank you for reminding us through song, through music. So grateful. Okay, Nancy, I am going to hand the screen over to you this morning to share the divine love flowing through us, blessing and multiplying. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I invite you to join me now for our prayer of plenitude as we welcome and receive the glorious abundance today and every day. Take a deep breath, breathing in love and light. Hold it gently. Now release it slowly as you connect through your heart with our message of prosperity. We come together today, opening our hearts and minds to the one Spirit, the light, infinite mind, knowing that there is only one prayer and one life, and that is the life of Spirit. We affirm that we are one with Spirit, and there is no one, nothing that is separate from this oneness. We are one with that infinite mind that has created all that is. We know that divine qualities of peace, of power, of plenty, of wisdom are already within each of us, and we embrace those qualities now. We step forward with love and anticipation, standing in the truth of who and what we are, saying yes to our prosperity, harmony, health, order, love, and our amazing expansion in all its forms. And with this greatest gratitude, we accept this transformation of consciousness for ourselves and our community. We know that it is done, and we give thanks. Now we release, we let go, and we let Spirit do its perfect work through us. We trust the universe to provide for us. It is done, and so it is. And now, just a few important announcements. Our beloved Evelyn Buckminster made her transition last week. Evelyn was one of the original members of the Unity Church on the Delta and has been active and involved in the life of our center, faithfully attending Sunday services for many years. There will be a gravesite service for her in mid-June. Please check our website and the weekly connection for the details. Please mark your calendars for our in-service coming up on May 5th in the West Island room of the Antioch Community Center on Lone Tree. And there will be a meditation beginning at 9:30 to 9:45 outside on the patio led by Jennifer Aron. Join us for that wonderful way to bring in the light and send loving energy to our community and the world. Remember to update your membership form this year so that we won't miss any of our communications and stay connected. The best time to do this is at the in-person or to go on our website for the form and print it and bring it with you the next time we are together. Mark your calendars now for a series of 5 Peace and Possibilities conversations with Father Tom Bonacci, facilitating at 7 o'clock on Zoom beginning June 15th. The culminating activity will be our 2022 Peace Walk on September 21st. Watch for an announcement in the mail on our website and on Facebook. Be a part of the change you want to see in the world. And please be sure to read our weekly connection every Wednesday evening in your email and consider volunteering with a committee that piques your interest. Blessings and gratitude to all. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Appreciate those reminders. Good stuff happening around here. Okay, Brittany, I'm going to hand the screen over to you for our final song this morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So for the last song, my progress of thought about these songs was that when we are able to truly be ourselves and we're able to allow other people to truly be themselves, that's when we can imagine a world that we design of our own, a world of our dreams. So this is A Million Dreams. Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting there for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, call me crazy. We can live in a world we design, 'cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside it's filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. We may be right, we may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world I see, to the world we close our eyes to see. We close our eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. Oh, that's one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites too. The lyrics are so deep when you really feel into them, and I like the part about, crazy, because wasn't it Steve Jobs who said the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world do? So a little crazy is okay.
It's a good thing.
I love it. Thank you, Brittany, for bringing us just that sheer, pure sweetness. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you both, Nancy and Brittany, for activating our space with enormous soul and splendor. We're so grateful for you, your smiles, your spirit, your presence, your essence. Thank you. Thank you. You can find Brittany online, Binks LaFay. Look for her. She's always doing amazing things. Mwah. Blessings to you both. Thank you for being here this morning. Okay, hello, wonderful people. I see everybody else who's tuned in. Hi, Christy. Hi, Asha. Hi, everybody who has jumped on with us. Good morning. Good morning. We are here. Reverend Matthew Fox is here. I'm so thankful for this divine connection. And Matthew's willingness to share his heart with us. Matthew's life is a living testimony, a living prayer of being that expansive, loving presence on this planet. And so we're so grateful to see you again. And here's a little bit about Matthew for those of you who are just getting to know Matthew Fox. Reverend Matthew Fox, PhD, author, theologian, and activist priest, has been calling people of spirit and conscience into the creation spirituality lineage for over 50 years. His 39 books, lectures, retreats, and innovative education models have ignited an international movement to awaken people to be mystics and prophets, contemplative activists who honor and defend the earth and work for justice. That's so beautiful. Ignited. Oh, ignited souls, that inner fire again. Beautiful. His recent projects include Order of the Sacred Earth and Daily Meditations with Matthew Fox, as well as the Cosmic Mass. His most recent books are Matthew Fox, Essential Writings on Creation Spirituality, Julian of Norwich, Wisdom in a Time of Pandemic and Beyond, and the Tao of Thomas Aquinas, Fierce Wisdom for Hard Times. Amazing books, I might add, definitely must reads. You can find Matthew Fox, matthewfox.org. You can find all that Matthew's doing there. And also there's daily meditations with matthewfox.org, and that's where the daily meditations are. So check that out. Thank you, Matthew, for being with us. I'm going to pray us in, then hand the screen right over to Matthew for our message today. So I invite you to join me in prayer as we open up that door, making ourselves available. We're so grateful and so thankful to gather together to extend peace and compassion and love far and wide into the world. We take this breath of love and gratitude as we feel a deepening, a quickening. We feel the divine wisdom active in our awareness. And we open ourselves up to the great power and presence. We're grateful to know that peace is our natural state. It is the very nature of God. And so we claim this truth, this perfect peace, and we allow this extension of peace and beauty and truth to be revealed to the world. We're so grateful to dissolve any idea that limits our ability to experience this sacred life. Anything that distracts us from the peace and truth within. And we bless Matthew. Oh, we open our mind, our body, our spirit, grateful, knowing that Matthew has a message from the deep underground river of truth, a wisdom message for us today. And we're receptive to the unlimited energy of love flowing here and now. And in grace and gratitude, I release this word for the deepening of truth, for the evolution of humanity, for the expansion of love in every heart. And so it is. Ashe, namaste. Thank you, Matthew, for being here. I am handing the screen over to you this morning. Blessings.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for your leadership in calling us all together. And thank you again to our musician, Brittany, for the wonderful and appropriately chosen songs. And yes, what I'd like to do is to kind of pick up on the reading that I offer from John of the Cross, because that poem on the Dark Night, first of all, it's very political. It's very practical. He was literally fleeing for his life, and it took a lot of courage and some good luck, as he said, that the moon was not shining that night, and he survived. He was successful. But I think that he introduces an archetype that has been very important ever since, that of the dark night of the soul, that his particular flight has universal meaning for all of us. And I want to point out that 300 years before John the Cross, there was a woman, Mechtilde Magdeburg, in the 13th century, who was a Beguine, which was the women's movement of the Middle Ages. And they were a wonderful movement. They got condemned by the Pope 17 different times, which suggests that it wasn't sticking, this condemnation. Out damn spot, out damn spot. When a Pope has to condemn a group 17 different times, you know something's happening. Anyway, when the Pope died, there were still hundreds of thousands of Beguines flourishing, especially in Northern Europe. And Beguine women chose not to be nuns, and nuns at that time had to be locked up in a cloister, and they chose not to be married. So they had this third option, this third life choice, and they lived together in a community, and they served the young and the poor and the sick, especially, and they worked a lot with their hands. They had to earn a living after all. Many were artisans. They sewed and they weaved, and some created stained glass and so forth. But Mechtilde Magdeburg also talked about the dark night. She didn't use that phrase, but she said sometimes things are so bad that the light of the lantern goes out. And even, she said, the memory of the light of the lantern goes out. So that's really naming the dark night, isn't it? And so I want to bring Mechtilde in along with John of the Cross. And as I say, she beat him to it by 300 years, which is pretty typical, actually. Julian of Norwich, who's my recent book that Amy talked about and who's sitting over my shoulder here, she was the first woman to write a book in English, but it wasn't published for 300 years. So there's something about that 300 year number that tells us something about how women have been relegated to the back of the bus more often than not under patriarchy. But my pitch on Julian is that she is ripe for today. We've been waiting for her for 700 years. She's a feminist. She has a whole development of God as mother that's richer than any other writer until the late 20th century. And she wrote in the 14th century. And she develops Christ as mother as well. So I want to talk about the dark night because I think we are in a collective dark night today, even before the Ukraine war, because of climate change, because we are literally facing our extinction as a species. Just a week or two ago, the United Nations Science Branch said once again, we have 7 years to change our ways as a species. But we're not going to be able to undo what is happening to the planet. And there's going to be gross failures of agriculture and of course, the weather is affecting so many now. I live in Northern California where droughts and wildfires are everyday things. And those in the Southeast America, of course, are facing floods and hurricanes that are more ferocious and more frequent than ever. And this is growing. So this is serious, facing our own extinction. And then there are other serious things we're facing, like the Ukraine war. We thought that after 80 years ago, we had fought the Second World War in Europe, and we thought, well, this was the last time Europe's going to have to do one of these things. And here we are again. And it's being live streamed into our living rooms. But this may have a positive effect, actually, to actually see the price of war on a daily basis. It's not an abstraction. And this is for people who are not in the army, who are not in the front lines experiencing how horrible war can be. But of course, there are other issues as well. There's currently, obviously, a melting of democracy and a rising of authoritarianism happening all around the world, and certainly in our own country. So there are many reasons to either face the darkness or to run from it. Now, Hafiz, the wonderful mystic from the Sufi tradition, has a great teaching about the dark night of the soul. And in his typical fashion, he brings humor in, that we can laugh even about serious things. He says, sometimes God wants to do us a great favor, turn us upside down and shake all the nonsense out. But most everyone I know, he says, when they see God is in such a playful, drunken mood, quickly packs their bags and hightails it out of town. So there's a lot of common sense in that observation. First of all, that something good can come out of the dark night. The whole purpose is to turn us upside down and shake all the nonsense out. There's a lot of nonsense in the human species today. There always has been. And but today is kind of culminating, isn't it? It's kind of coming together, and it's on live stream, and it's in our living rooms and on our iPhones. It's everywhere. So there's no place to run. There's no town to hightail it out of. And of course, the same is true of climate change, isn't it? There's no place that is not being affected by climate change. So, hey, maybe we do have to stick around and learn what the dark night has to teach us. And that is exactly what the mystics are telling us, is what John the Cross is telling us. That there's great wisdom to be learned. The dark night of the soul is a school to attend. that you learn things in the darkness you don't learn in the light. And in fact, he even says in his poem, and this is paradoxical, of course, but that's typical of poets and of mystics, that the noon is brighter in the darkness than it is at noon. The sun is brighter in the darkness than at noon. Now, Rabbi Heschel used to say we shouldn't just talk about the dark night of the soul, we should talk about the dark night of society. And of course, Heschel was very involved in the civil rights movement in the 60s. He marched with King, and he got a lot of criticism from his own community for doing that. So that's what he was talking about. We had to shake society up around racism, segregation, and the rest. And obviously, that is another dimension to talking about the dark night of our souls. And society today is, of course, this most recent, but there are so many, action of hatred and racial animosity and murder that just occurred in Buffalo. And of course, we stack that up on top of the other examples of George Floyd and so many others. So this is also true, the dark night of the society. But my point is that our whole species is in a dark night because of climate change. We don't know how it's going to end. And so what is the advice from these wise people, our mystical teachers, our spiritual teachers, for a time like this? And Hafiz nails it. He says, the advice is not to run. Our first response is to run. That's our reptilian brain, flight, fight, and flight. But the deeper response is to stick around. What is climate change telling us? And what is it demanding of us to change our ways? Obviously, we're busy now trying to change our ways of devising energy from nature in a more sustainable and cleaner way. So that's one thing, obviously, and scientists are working overtime to try to help in that regard. But also, we change our ways of diet. Heavily meat diets and even fish diets are not good for future generations, period. And we're running out of both. And studies have shown, actually, if the whole human race were to become vegan, in 10 years, we would stop climate change and begin to reverse it. If we turn all the land now used for livestock into trees, that could happen. We actually could change it, set it back in 10 years. But even if we did part of that, if not everyone can be vegan, I see it as a spectrum. Some can be vegetarian, and everyone who's eating meat and fish can eat less. So we start really cutting back. That's something we can all do without being geniuses at technology and inventions and all the rest. So that should absolutely be included in any effort to save the planet from climate change. But there's other things we can do. And so I want to share a list of what I call practices to prepare for facing evil, because that is what the dark night of the soul, the dark night of our species, and the dark night of our society is about. Because there is a big temptation, and it sells, to go into denial, to pretend that climate change isn't important, or that racism isn't important, or that authoritarianism isn't important, and the demise of democracy is not important. That's the easy way to go. So it's tempting. It's just like Hafiz said, most people want to pack their bags and hightail it out of town and listen to only those television stations or radio commentators that say that it's all hokum and it's all a conspiracy or something. So we want to be stronger. That's what spirituality is about. It's about being strong. It's like being John of the Cross with the courage to escape and to put the love of God ahead of rules and how things always were in his particular society, his order of the Carmelites. But it's also what Mechtilde Magdeburg and other beguines were about when they launched a new lifestyle for women with much more freedom and education and community to support one another. So every movement takes courage and strength, and as Hafiz says, sticking around instead of hightailing it out of town. So I want to offer a few examples of how we strengthen ourselves to face the dark night. Number one, root ourselves in the sacred. Wherever you find the sacred, in nature, for example, and this is where most people find the sacred. California poet Bill Everson once said that most people find God in nature or find God not at all. That nature is where the divine is most evident. And here we are at this moment in history where any day now, this new telescope up in the heavens, Webb telescope, is going to shine back to Earth in our living rooms the original light of the universe. Now, you know, when we hear the word light, we think of sunlight. Of course, why wouldn't we? It's the nearest light. But the sun's only 5 billion years old, and our universe is 13.8 billion years old. And hey, there was an original light that birthed this whole universe, which we now name as 2 trillion galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. And we're here on this splendid, special planet. Do you think there are giraffes anywhere else in the universe? Well, there aren't. You can count on it. You can bet on it. And neither are there elephants or whales or rainforests. We've got it all. And why would we want to denigrate it and run from repairing it, especially when it's our species that has been doing the recent most severe damage? So finding the sacred in nature, in the cosmos, in the earth, in music as well, in prayer, in scriptures, in reading the mystics, as well as in studying the stars. All this is an avenue into the sacred that you want to go deeper and deeper into. It's not something that you do and put behind you. It's a lifetime journey, this quest for the beloved, as John the Cross puts it in his poem. And then let the sacred take you to the source. Thomas Aquinas says, God is a source without a source. So there is a source behind all this sacredness, behind all this glory or doxa, beauty and goodness in the world. And you have a right to encounter that source. We're here for that. And the third practice for me comes from a statement from Thomas Merton, the Catholic monk. He said, and I love this, every non-two-legged creature is a saint. Every non-two-legged creature is a saint. That means the cat you live with, or the dog, or the horse that you love, or birds, or stones, or trees. They're all saints. Blades of grass, they're all saints. Hang out with them. They have something sacred to teach us, and they do. For one thing, they're not busy talking all the time. You noticed? They're not afraid of silence. And they're in touch with something deep. Another practice is to fill up on goodness. Fill up on goodness. Aquinas talked about original goodness. He mentions that phrase many times. Hildegard of Bingen talked about original wisdom. I talked about original blessing, although 2 popes condemned me for it. They said that how they put it, that grace spiritual is dangerous and deviant to talk about original blessing. Well, the current pope is not of that ilk, thank heavens. But, popes can be pretty ignorant too. And then the Buddhists talk about the original Buddha nature and our original purity. And of course, Christians talk about the cosmic Christ, the original Christ that is in all of us, that is in all of us. There's been many mistakes in Christian preaching about Jesus being the only Christ. No, we're all called to be other Christs. Meister Eckhart, 14th century, he said, he's a Dominican preacher. He said, what good is it to me if Mary gave birth to the Son of God 1400 years ago and I don't give birth to the Son of God in my own time and in my own person and in my own culture? So we're all meant to be other Marys and to birth the Christ in our work, in our relationships, in our communities, families. And of course, the Jewish people talk about the image of God that is in all beings, not just in the human, but it's in all beings. And it is this same light that we've been talking about that breaks through the darkness, as Merton said, comes from the inside out. And the experience of the transfiguration in the Christian tradition, where Jesus took 3 friends to the top of a mountain, and then they got up there and he started to glow. This really freaked them out. What is that? We thought this was a friend and a rabbi, but hey, now he's glowing. Well, it was obviously an amazing experience. He told them to keep it secret. Don't make a big deal out of it. But the truth is that it was an example of how we all glow. Thomas Merton, this Catholic monk who lived in the 60s, died in 1968. One day he was, and his monastery was near Louisville. One day he was in the town of Louisville visiting a doctor or something, and he had this mystical experience at noontime crossing the busy street, Walnut Street, downtown Louisville. And he saw everyone glowing. And he said the next day in his diary, he wrote in his journal, he wrote that, how is it possible to tell everybody that they're walking around shining like the sun? Those are the things we need to remember. We're all walking around shining like the sun. Now, of course, we don't see it 24 hours a day. We'd be crazier than we are if we did. And he only saw it once in his life, but it was enough. And it's exactly what the apostles saw with Jesus at one time, 2,000 years earlier. So my 5th proposal is to become like a camel. Now, meditate on this for a while, but I'm telling you, we have to become like camels during the dark night of our species. Why do I say that? Because camels store up the water when they know they're heading into the desert, right? And it works. They get to the other end of the desert. So we're in a desert. That's another name for the via negativa, or the dark night of the soul. It's a dark time, it's a dry time. And so you need to store up all these experiences I've been talking about, these experiences of goodness and of beauty, of wisdom and insight, of truth, and the reverence and joy that comes with them, and the trust and the gratitude. It's what the mystics call the via positiva. You have to store that up like a camel does. We have to learn to become good camels at this time, and carry these memories and experiences into the desert, into the void. And another practice is to be a light. It was wonderful that we had that song this morning, that we are all light. I am a light, you are a light, and together we are light. Be a light to yourself first. Find the light within. Meister Eckhart called it the spark of the soul. And he says it's a manger where the Christ is born, and where it's also where the Holy Spirit operates from, this spark of the soul. But he got the idea from a Muslim, Avicenna, a Muslim philosopher 200 years before him. And he tells us that. In 13 different sermons, he gives this Muslim philosopher credit for this idea of spark of the soul. And this is a light that we carry with us. And of course, John the Cross was talking about that too in today's poem, wasn't he? Finding that light within that gave him the courage and the direction for his willingness to escape the oppression he was under. And so to remember our experience of what Julian Norwich calls oneing, O-N-E-I-N-G. She invented a lot of words in English. One of them is oneing. Another is enjoy. She invented that word, enjoy. But other mystics have called it ecstasy. Thomas Aquinas calls it ecstasy. Meister Eckhart calls it breakthrough. But all these experiences that are intense and immense and intimate for us, these mystical experiences, carry them as part of your camel water, because they are that. They are there to nurture us and nourish us and keep us wet when things get dry or difficult. Whether you're among friends or whether you're among foes, we need to draw on that water, the underground river. Eckhart says God is a great underground river that no one can dam up and no one can stop. That's what you want to tap into at all times. And we have to practice emptying and expect emptying to happen and to taste nothingness. Bring nothingness to the table. It has a positive dimension to it. Like the darkness has a positive dimension to it. We learn things in the dark, we don't learn in the light. So we learn things when we're empty that we don't learn when we're full. In fact, Eckhart says, the soul grows by subtraction, not by addition. Ours is a time for learning some subtraction, learning to let go and to let be. And that's part of meditation, isn't it? To let go of sound, to let go of images, to let go of thinking, rational thinking and discoursing, and to entertain silence. Silence is a kind of nothingness. Meister Eckhart says, nothing in all creation is so like God as silence. So carry that silence as part of the camel that we become. And of course, we need to continually learn to practice forgiving, even beginning with ourselves. And we want to roll up our sleeves and go to work, because David Orr, the eco-philosopher, says, hope is a verb with the sleeves rolled up. So if we're going to carry hope in the midst of a lot of despair, a lot of darkness, a lot of turning off, and a lot of denial, it's going to take work. It's going to take inner work, kind of inner work I've been talking about, but also it's going to take outer work to change our structures and our systems, whether I'm talking education, political, economic, religious. And don't look at it as a problem. Look at it as an adventure, like John the Cross did. He looked on his escape as an adventure, and it was an adventure. Adventure implies risk, and that gets it gets your it's called metaphors, and what's it called? Anyway, these chemicals in our brain going whenever you're being creative. Metformins. No, it's not. I'm 81, so I get to lose a few words once in a while, but I forget a few words. But anyway, it is about literally being creative. And whenever we're being creative, there is a physiological change in our brains. And it brings metadorphins, that's it, metadorphins. It brings metadorphins alive, which make you happy. Some of the happiest people in the world are people who have been engaged in fierce struggle for what they truly believed in. And Julia Norwich puts it wonderfully. She says, charged with the quality of reverence and loving awe, we turn ourselves with all our might toward the actions to which we are guided. So this love and passion for living that comes from all the practices I've named here and come from all of these wonderful mystics, that their purpose is to turn us to action. Charge, and I love that word charge, and that word she used 600 years before electricity was invented or discovered, but she had that word charged already. So today we know more about being charged, don't we? But she knew it back then. Charged with the quality of reverence and loving awe, we turn ourselves with all our might toward the actions to which we are guided. That's another way of saying that the prophet is the mystic in action. The mystic is the lover, And the prophet is one who interferes, who runs interference for love and interferes with those structures and those attitudes, those expressions of evil, like racism, like sexism, like anthropocentrism, which is killing the earth, matricide, killing the mother earth. We have to interfere with all those energies, but you do it not out of just opposition. You do it out of that deep love, the deep love. And that is exactly what John the Cross said, isn't it? That it was the love in his soul, the fire in the heart that moved him to continue searching for beloved beyond the confines of his jail cell and to risk his life to do so. And so there's an invitation here for all of us to build our courage, remembering that the word courage is two French words, cœur large, a big heart. Grow our hearts, and nothing grows a heart like joy. Thank you. Blessings to you.
Sorry about that. Wow. Let's just take a moment and just allow all of that to integrate. I mean, it's going to take a few days here to allow it all to integrate, but feel into so many deep, essential, exciting messages today. Thank you, Matthew. I can't write quick enough when you're having to talk with us. I love the invitation here that you closed with, to build courage, that big heart, and through joy. Also, I don't think I've ever heard this before. The mystic is the lover and the prophet is the one that runs interference for love. It's an expression of the deep love. And I really appreciate that you said that, because it isn't out of that place of opposition or resisting. It's really tuning in, falling back into that deep, passionate, loving space is really where we have the power, where we have that empowerment to move forward with that charge that toward action. I love some of these words is the dopamine, right? That comes out and gets all us in the creative space. So many wonderful points. And thank you for organizing them sort of for us and listing them. I wrote them all down, the practices, and I thank you. Let's check in with everybody. If you have a comment, a question, something to add, pop in here and you can let us know and I'll see that. I'm so grateful for such a penetrating message in a time where we're all hungry for it, and I'm so grateful for it. Hafez, I love that turn upside down and shake out the nonsense. And isn't it true, that sort of when the going gets tough, people would pack up and hightail it. I mean, that's just the like you said, that's really just the reptilian brain of ours that wants to just survive, right? And fight, flight, help save us. Yeah. And so really to stick around and tune into that passion and love and be that that prophet to show up in the world. Oh, such beautiful words. Let's see here. Ron has a question, I think. Ron is asking, what is the essential role of authentic community in creatively facing the collective dark night of the soul? Did you get that, Matthew?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a very important role, of course, because any one of these practices can and should be a group practice to root ourselves in the sacred. Do it alone, but you can do it in group as well, and to be a light and to remember the breakthroughs and the ecstasies and the wonnings. This is what we do when we pray together and eat together. Jesus saying, remember, do this in memory of me. So he was thinking about the power of memory there too, at the Last Supper. And to, as I say, roll up your sleeves and go to work. Obviously, that's a group thing. Get a lot done, more done as a team than singularly. So I think each one of these could be applied to the community, and the community could really build itself around these practices.
Yeah.
And maybe there's such a thing as a group camel instead of just an individual camel.
Yes, I love that. I love the camel. That
camel.
I just it's so beautifully illustrated, because we could just so see that, become like a camel, store up, the water. When they're heading to the desert, they're storing up the water. And so in our dark, dry time, we've got that goodness, that beauty, that truth, that wisdom, insight, all that stored up. And yeah, so we're a community of camels. Really, because we're the light for one another, right? The light in me sees the light in you. And yeah, how profound is that? Susan says, yeah, Hafez and Shakti. Such an honor to experience Reverend Fox. Yes, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this conversation this morning. All of the practices that were spelled out for us. I wrote them all down. I might put them all on the list for everybody and put it on Facebook at Matthew's Wise Words. Thank you for all the quotes too, from so many wise ones. And they're deep messages for us. Let sacred take you to the source. Aquinas said, we are here to encounter the source. I love this. Every non-two-legged creature is a saint. Yeah.
Something to think about, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right. And dog is God spelled backwards, as we all know, right? And that really, there's a lot of truth there. Yes. Yes. Great message. Such just deeply heartfelt message. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us this morning. Matthew Fox has 39 books for you to read and absorb, and all of this is in it in depth. So you can purchase those on his website. Also, the daily meditations being offered, daily meditations with MatthewFox.org, and the website is just MatthewFox.org, so that's easy to remember. You might be inclined to get on there and participate in all those activations of love and beauty. Great resources there. Thank you for a sensational morning, Matthew. I am deeply appreciative. Everybody, thank you for tuning in and being in this vibration of flow. We decide what flow looks like and feels like in our lives, and giving and receiving in this circulation of it's always simply an exchange of energy. And so a sacred exchange is about appreciating and sharing. And so if you feel refreshed, inspired, reminded of your divine truth, your divinity, encouraged to pour out your loving life force, to take that charge forward. And if being in this sacred space, this container of love, inspires you, consider visiting our giving page on our website, brentwoodilc.org. We are grateful for your generous contributions, which make what we do possible. And we love to circulate out and receive and give. And we appreciate your generosity. Thank you. Thank you. So we are going to close with our prayer of divine awakening this morning, which I will put up on the screen here so that everybody can speak these words aloud and make it a declaration for your life if you so choose. So I'm going to share that screen right now and pull that up, and that should be right here in front of us right now. The prayer of divine awakening. It's a new day, a beautiful day, a new beginning. I embrace this day with new eyes, an open heart, an expansive mind. I choose my vibrational frequency deliberately and consciously, harmonizing with life's events. I am receptive to source energy, divine guidance and wisdom available to me at all times. I commit to serve unconditional love fully and completely. I move forward in a state of appreciation, an extension of the one magnificent power and presence. I am sovereign, whole, and free, claiming dominion over my life as I go in peace and awaken to my divinity. And so it is. Oh, thank you, Matthew, so much. I know I could easily keep you chatting here for several more hours, but I will refrain from my impulse to spend more time. I'm grateful for the time you've given us. Thank you so much for being part of our community. We are grateful.
We're inviting you to the community. And be welcome.
Absolutely. So that's matthewfox.org. Everybody check it out. All the books are there, and you will be changed. You will be changed by taking in what Matthew has shared with the world in his writing. So thank you. Shine on, divine beings of brilliance. I love you. I appreciate this community immensely. Tune in next week. We will be back. Same time, same place. It's a date. I love you all. Appreciate you, Matthew. Mwah. Blessings, everybody.